2025.
The Star.
Y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Fizz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin, flying around the field, starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes, these other sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyze it with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people start five. We going in on three, run the baseline, start five. Get it, we got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, start five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat stick. I got what you need.
All right, and we just spoke this man's name into existence prior to starting. Well, what up, everybody? You know who I am. You know who this is. Your boy, the mayor, the DJ named H5. Your mom's favorite fat guy all the way from deepest, darkest Africa, which happens to be the continent I would rather be in right now in other countries. But we going to get there. Why? As always, though, before we move to Nigeria or Lagos or something, Lagos, Nigeria or South Africa, make sure you hit our sponsors. Dubby, 10% off your order using the code START5. And our longest running, the homies at Hooks Rubs and Spices, hooksrub.com. 20% off your order there using the code START5. Jamal, they need to go hit these sponsors and help us out so we can get the fuck up off this American rock.
There you go. What's good, everybody? What's good, man? Happy to be back here. It's been a little minute. Got a little busy with some stuff, but yeah, man, it's looking like, folks don't have to make an evacuation plan at some point. At least start thinking about it. Have it on your mind, because it's getting crazy. It's getting a little crazy. But yeah, pleasure being here to chop some stuff up with everybody today. I see my man Big O is here in spirit, it looks like. But
here,
there you go.
My bad.
It's all good.
He's in the group home. Yo, I'm up against the wall.
Yeah. What up, fellas? It's great to be back.
Shit.
Great to be back, man. You know what I'm saying? Missed y'all. I was saying earlier, man, summertime is tough because, I'm 50 years old when my parents ain't here, man, but I'm 15 when they get here, man, because man, put me to work, man.
Fam, I was just telling Dan, I was like, bro, this can give anybody a lecture on anything at any moment. It's gonna take a minute. I remember I was over O's crib and we was talking about the Jets, and O's pops broke down the thing about the Jets turned into the history of Nigeria and Ghana. And he'd be having you locked in too. You'd be like, damn, yeah, this nigga's spitting.
That's funny.
That's
funny.
Yeah, man, but I know we got a jam-packed show today, man. Got a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
we got a lot to talk about in a little time because we got the brother got the heart out in a little bit. But Yeah, let's just get right into this shit. NBA. I heard there's a game 7 going on. Have we been? I know. I've been keeping true to work. Wow, excuse me for the camera. I've been keeping true to form, and I haven't watched yet. All I've been doing is checking to see what the score is, and checking to see. Shout outs again to the homie Nicole Porter, only Pacers fan, true Pacers fan I know. I've only been checking to see if she's been up or down by way of Instagram posts because and the Pacers won the other night to draw the game 7. But that's all I know. Tyrone has been the only one so far who's been actively paying attention to these finals. Have either of y'all?
Nah, nah.
Paying attention. I've watched. I haven't watched one full game. I don't know why. I just it's a shame because it's a great series. They evenly match teams. The Pacers are, as the game would say, that damn good. But I don't know, man. It's just not. I'm not excited. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not watching it or not more locked in. But I don't think we're alone on that. I would love to see what the viewership numbers are on this series. But um, yeah, the Pacers. I mean, they going back and forth. So game 7 in OKC. I personally, I mean, I know the betting favorite is OKC. I don't like. I would not like to have the Pacers in game 7. You know,
Right. When they've been
and
getting all the lucky bounces and all that shit.
yep,
Yeah, man.
yeah. So
I I I, I can tell you why you've been more why you haven't been more locked in, man. Because this is the finals that nobody asked for. You know what I'm saying?
true.
Yeah, the Thunder. We all expected the Thunder there, but no one expected Indiana to get there, man. They weren't supposed to beat the Cavaliers. Most of us Knicks fans, we were like, "Yo, let's run it back. Let's run it back." You know, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't have the same core, but you know, Pacers. Yeah, they were out. They definitely outcoached us. And we didn't have nothing for Halliburton, man. I think that first game 1. I know we spoke about it at length.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
first
We
game
keep
one,
bringing that back up.
yeah, man, it really did us in, man. And so, yeah, man, shout out to them, man. But yeah, listen. I wait for Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt, man. I probably ain't gonna watch the game though.
Word.
Yeah,
But in real NBA news, and we're gonna be talking about some missiles and rockets later. But the Rockets made a big trade for Kevin Durant. They're
That's
bringing
scary.
the easy money sniper back to the state of Texas. But
Mhm.
yeah, they got rid of, what is it, like 2 guards and a draft pick or something like that. I forgot the names. Oh, you got the names? But I was trying to memorize them before we started, but
I know Jalen Green is one of them.
I think
Um,
Devin Brooks or
Dylan
Derek
Brooks,
Brooks or
right, 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 right. Dylan
Dylan Brooks.
Brooks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one
And a
one first
draft
round
pick.
pick and like five second round picks. So they
For,
they didn't they didn't get the big haul like they thought they would, I guess, but they still got some young talent back, in Jalen Green.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
But
I
still,
mean, you know what? It's scary. Kevin Durant with Emi Udoka. And that team was good. That team was good. Was good last year. Um,
Yeah,
I hope they don't. They may have, without Dylan Brooks, as much as you may not like Dylan Brooks, or folks don't like Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks, he is their muscle and their
I just
toughness.
don't like I just don't like the first name.
Yeah, Dylan.
I,
but we'll see we'll see how much toughness they lose without Brooks. But I mean, Emi Udoka's a hell of a coach, man. You're gonna give him Kevin Durant. That can be problemas
yeah.
for a lot of folks.
And you still
So,
got you still got
and
Amen Thompson.
right. So, and on top of that, they didn't really lose that much for him. And granted, I just think the market wasn't there. I mean, it's still Kevin Durant, but it's 37-year-old injury Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right,
You know, who wants to mortgage their future for a 1 or 2 season rental?
right. Yeah.
right. Right.
You know,
But
shout out to them.
KD
Shout out,
KD gone
yeah.
KD. KD gonna KD. Like I seen a post this morning. Someone was just like, "Yo, like, how could anybody stop this? Like he's playing like in like a just a gym open run kind of game." And I'm like, yeah, none of y'all niggas is ever gonna stop a guy like him. But people in the NBA do it all the time. But again, at 30, you said 37 he is now, 36, 37 ish. Like, yeah, you mortgaged off a lot, especially by way of draft picks for an aging guy, for an old man now in NBA terms, an old man, but an old man that still knows how to put the ball in the hoop. So
Hey man,
hopefully the Rockets are putting themselves in some kind of position to be like win now, which I still don't see.
Yeah,
But they did have a good turnaround this year, so who knows?
for sure.
yeah. I don't know. I'll always be against um trading for somebody that's on the wrong side of 30 for multiple first round picks, man. That's just I just can't see myself doing that as a
I'm just
responsible. I
glad the
mean,
Knicks didn't do it.
right.
That's what I'm most glad. I'm just glad they didn't. You
Right.
Well,
know,
we had no capital to trade with, anyways. Like
well, you heard the
Cal
stupid
Bridges
shit
doesn't
they
make
were
it work.
saying straight up for cat and stuff like that. Just dumb stuff. I was glad
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
like thanks but no thanks. So,
yeah. That's true.
but hey, it is what it is. I mean, again, you give Emi Udoka a weapon like that, anything can happen, man. So, um, and I mean, it's not a terrible trade for what they gave up. So, and it's and Kevin Durant at 37 is still better than most of the league.
Facts. 50,
So,
40, 90.
more power to him. More power to him, man.
He's not
I
from
mean,
Texas, right? He's from DC, I
Yeah, he
think.
from
he's from
DC,
DC,
but
yeah.
he went to the University of Texas.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know he's a Longhorn. Yeah. Hmm. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. My daughter was hooking
It's
me
all
up
good.
with the charger, so now I ain't gonna die. Uh, but yeah, man, freaking I mean, what else did we have going on besides the main doo doo stain of all of this shit? But
Oh,
Didn't
your
Tyler
boy,
have
yeah,
your
some
boy,
stuff?
your boy Jimmy.
yeah, like Kevin Durant's one thing, right? NBA Finals, who cares? This Nas Jim Jones shit. Where did this shit even stem from? Like, where did I just started to see it become discourse online, and it's like, but why? Like, and who ever even thought to compare Jim fucking Jones to Nas?
Yo, I would
Yeah,
tell you,
that's crazy.
the first time I saw it, it was some kid. It was this little kid. He was probably like 14, 15 years old, and he was saying how Jim Jones, we could relate more to Jim Jones as opposed to Nas because of
Mm.
his wares. Oh, he brought back Ed Hardy, da 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 da. Whatever, whatever.
Oh, I saw
So
that shit. Yeah.
yeah, I could that on that aspect. Yes, he's more influential, maybe towards the younger crowd because of what he be wearing or whatever. But his lyrics is not. His lyrics is pretty simple, which falls right into this generation. You know what I'm saying? I was in my old girl yard yesterday, listening. We just vibing, listening to old Nas, listening to Illmatic, and I'm like, yo, this kid was 17 when he wrote this, yo, and this shit is bananas. You know what I'm saying? And I- Jim Jones in his bag cannot see Nas, yo. Like it's what are we even talking about here?
But
You
what's
know,
his bag? Like, what's his bag? Because I tell you right now, that
summer in
bag been
Miami,
that bag
fly, we fly
that bag been empty, son.
high.
Rap wise, bar wise, he's not it. He's one of those rappers who, like you said, he's a vibe kind of guy. you ain't going to him for dope lyrics. You're going to him to for okay, he actually picked a really dope beat and then he might have gave you a hook to latch on. But everything in between, like I guess it's just me because I've never truly been a fan. I don't hate the man. I don't know the man. I don't know him to hate him. I'm not a fan of his music. And it never hit. It never hit. Like balling got over because it was a moment, and then the whole, aka the dance, aka the jump shot, and all
It's
that. Plus,
catchy.
you had the energy of the New York Giants run to the Super Bowl with that and that record pop at the same time. And for kids to say that he's more relatable, like let's keep it real. You're not relatable to either one of these people. Ain't nobody relatable to them. But if we're listening to lyrical content, which it's clear they're not, because you mentioned everything influential outside of the raps. You, as a kid, you might be a little bit more relatable to Nas than a Jim Jones, just off of lyrical content. And then again, put into the aspect of Illmatic was written when he was 16 years old. Conceptual, when you think of that in that concept right there of he was writing that level of stuff at 16 years old.
Yeah.
And then the brain dead generation that we got now, it's like you maybe you don't relate to those lyrics, even though I think I tried to say you could, but man, maybe you don't really relate to those kind of lyrics because
But
there's
but
far less kids thinking on that level.
right. And then, you have to remember too, that album was so different because, you know, I'm sure we spoke about this before. That was the first time you had multiple producers on, well, one of the first times, you've had multiple producers on one album. And it wasn't no it was like a who's who of producers at the time. You're talking about an all-star lineup that all signed off on this kid, this 16, 17-year-old kid, and was like, yo, nah, he's the future. I need to get on this album.
Right.
Off the top of your head, you had Large Professor, you had Pete Rock, you had
Premier,
Q-Tip, Premier.
Q-Tip,
Like,
Premier. Yep.
you know,
Yeah, you had the best of the best of that era.
yes,
Meanwhile, I mean Jim Jones definitely paid for a lot of the greats of his time too. We can't sell them shell short on the beat makers and producers that helped put together his work. But
mm-mm,
if we're talking rap and we're talking raps, Nas lyrically just
no,
it's not a comparison.
no, no,
This
it's
is
no
why
comparison.
this is what I've been trying to figure. Like, where the fuck did this come from? But I guess you said it. It came from a young kid that just they don't know, and some kids just don't know better, and it's okay because generationally speaking, if you don't have somebody giving you that music, you ain't gonna know.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Like, I'm not too worried about that in like my household because my daughter Zoe, like, she's sitting there listening to Doom on her own. She's listening to like I find my kids listen to some dope shit. They're in within their generation, but then also too, I put on BLS in the car because BLS is pretty neutral for everybody to listen to. They're singing the old shit,
Shout out to
you know.
BLS.
Yeah, I was a Kiss FM guy
Yeah,
until
Yo,
they
Kiss
went
was
away.
FM.
yeah.
Red Alert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
BLS was kind of weak until they became the only thing. But
There's a BLS
but
that
yeah,
Chuck
like
Chill out.
they still got Chuck Chill out, and that man, listen, legend, never taking nothing away from him. He needs to stop scratching every chance he could when he's on set. It hurts my soul every time I listen to that man trying to scratch or play with the records, like bringing it back, and it's like, all right, OG, like I respect you, but there's certain skills you might have to put down or save that for the practice room. Or save it for when you do in Crotona Park and you're live in front of people who don't know better. Not on the radio. Not on the radio, but that was, that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I
Let's
get
not go
the
down that rabbit hole.
I get the thing about the generations. And again, it's just most of these kids just haven't been put in position.
Right, and you have to be exposed, because my brother and I, man, we had this conversation, like, he's like, yo, I thank y'all, man, for exposing me. We there's a 10-year difference, so it's wide, but it isn't that wide, But
I'm familiar.
he listens to more Far Side, Tribe Called Quest, Wu Tang, than anything. And I'm like, yo, hey man, like this is, I hate to sound the guy, the get off my lawn guy, man, but this is music. This is real rap music right here. Not what we hear on the radio now. I mean, every now and again you may get some guy, you may get some kid who is a student of old school rap or whatever, man, and is bringing it along like a J.
Yeah.
Cole, you
I've
know.
grown to dislike that statement though of this is real rap music. That's real rap music because to me it's all real rap music. It's just not my taste of rap music. That's the best way I could put it. It's like it's rap, but it's just not for me. This generation, as I always like to say, this generation, this is their time. This is their thing. Our generations, we had the generation before us talking about, yo, this ain't it. This wasn't it until the rappers started making it and was bigging them up, giving them props and things like that. Then it was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? And then once they started to see checks coming in from well, if they know, some of them didn't even own publishing enough to see checks coming in from their samples and stuff being done. But I think our generation did go backwards and pay respect while still saying fuck you to those who was disrespected, trying to say that we wasn't shit. And now we're the ones in turn turning around telling this generation their shit ain't shit because it ain't what we did and what we had, when there's plenty of MCs out that give us the style that we grew up on. But being hip hop being somewhat of the rebellious culture that it is, and rap music being the soundtrack to it, this is their era. This is their, if you want to say, rebel against what we grew up on, but nah, this is ours. And I don't say rebel in the way of like a we had a public enemy. They don't. They got a Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, they got a Cole, and a Kendrick is the one who's shining the brightest on top right now.
Right,
So
yeah.
they even have that too. They even have that too. But when you think about all the other ancillary artists in the conversation, the ones that get the what the hell, what the helly, like I like that shit because it's silly. I know what
It's
it is. It's
catchy.
nothing. Yeah, it's nothing serious. But saying what the hell, like it just became a part of the lexicon where it's like, yo, that's y'all thing, cool. I happen to be okay with it. But guess what? We had our shit like that.
You
I
show you
wish.
you have you
I wish I was a little bit taller.
you have you show them grace because you still have, you have kids who listen to it, and you give you'll tolerate it more, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I listen. Shout out to the rappers in my generation, man, that still come out with music, man. Shout out to Slick Rick, who came out with a dope
Oh
album,
yeah.
man. A dope 30-minute album.
Hmm.
Jeez,
I
what,
heard
what the
about it.
hell's up with that, man? But
And look,
good album, man.
you out there creating, man. So
Yeah, exactly.
Word. But it's not a tolerance thing for me. It's not a tolerating thing for me
Mm,
because if I don't like it, I ain't listening to it. So it's not
right,
that I
right.
tolerate it. It's not that I tolerate it. No, it's I'm old enough to respect, hey, we had ours. Just like we had the conversation, was y'all both? No, I think Jamal, you might have missed it, but I think you was there. Remember when we had the conversation a couple weeks ago with Tyrone after he mentioned he was talking to his daughter about whose generation was better and yada yada yada, and how I
Mm-hmm.
brought up I brought up the DJ Quick saying, "Yo, it's just like Compton. Like our generation is almost just like their generation, but just in different lanes." It's in different avenues. Like I said, our outside, yeah, you was there, oh.
Yeah.
Our outside was outside. Their outside is, yo, we outside because we just going to the club, we going to the party or
Fact.
whatever. But their outside of interaction and stuff like that is the internet,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
social medias, so it hits different. Our outside for, trying to get girls was you had to step up face to face. This generation, yo, what's your Instagram? Are you on Tinder? Did you swipe left? Did you swipe right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Right.
it's different. It's similar, but it's different. Like it's performing in some ways. A lot of these things are performing the same actions, but it just is in different packaging. But of course, as I always say, especially when we even talking sports and all that, we always hold dear to us what we grew up on.
Yeah.
And that becomes our standard. And then that's what we base almost everything off of. Like, Jamal, like, yeah, I don't know if you agree, disagree, but like even when I give stuff for like my top fives of rappers and shit, like my top five hasn't changed in a few years, but it's people of my generation, as it should be.
Yeah, I think it rides somewhere in the middle of that. Is recency bias is real. One, we're all subject to our own generation and when we discover it. Um, but there's also, just like anything else, there's evolution of something. But there's also sometimes where something is just better, and that's the dope thing about hip hop is things can live right within that triangle, and it can be debated because what is hip hop at its core is a debate. I'm fresher than you fresher than me. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
it's it's a
Or when we
battle
talk
culture.
rap, for
So
sure,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, for
Yeah.
rap for sure. Yeah. So um, it's just it's the moment in the generation, and it's about what's speaking to that current generation at that time, and how you can reach them, and that's just a fact of just time. But my pops used to always say, "There's at some point there's gonna be a time when the older generation is right about the newer ones. And that time may have arrived, but it's all good.
True. But we we went through that with our parents in some ways.
We did, but you know what the difference is? And I'm not the first to speak on this. And what kills me is rock legends don't have to prove their value to the industry or to the genre. Rock legends are revered till they die by newer, older, different type of music. Hip hop, where a lot of it has been taken away from us in a sense, is they don't know that a lot of kids don't know the history and they're not been
Right.
exposed to it, you know? And
Right.
so that's a problem. Now, it's a problem of them not seeking it out. It's a problem of their parents not exposing them to it. I mean, my pops had music on all the time in the house, so we got exposed to everything, to jazz, to doo-wop, to Motown, Philly sound, stacks, all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? And growing up in Flatbush, we already had the influence of reggae and dancehall and soca and everything else. So we we had a different music education as Gen X than these kids do because hip hop dominates in a way now, music in a way, and pop culture in a way that no other genre of music has done.
Yeah.
So when we came up, we were listening to so many different genres of music, and genres of music, even within just black music. But we was also listening to top 40 and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
Now it's just hip hop and hip pop. That's it, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With a
And
sprinkle of
Well,
R&B.
it's a strong R&B, or if R&B exists, or they're listening to dance music, listening
Yeah.
to Jersey Club or house or whatever, alternative international versions of house. So you can't put the onus on them, um, because they grew up in hip hop at a time where it's the dominant culture, where we had to mine for that shit. We had to stay up late to
right.
hear it. So
Right, right.
so
And what you said with all of that, it's the thing that I always bring up. It's the matter of accessibility. But then it's also, are you what I call a hip hop lazy? You became the person to stop digging for it because all of it in totality is right in your face. So
mhm,
you don't have to look hard for it, but you still gotta want to have the ingenuity to put in the work to go do the homework on the previous, do the research on the previous, because to everything you said, yes, we were listening to all of that stuff because, like you said, if you were in your household, there was one radio and probably one turntable, and who controlled it? You had to
mhm,
listen to whatever your father was
Your
listening to.
pops. Yep.
If if you are getting a ride from a friend and their parents got on CBS FM,
yep,
and you got to listen to the classic oldies top 40s,
Mhm.
you're listening to them oldies top 40s for that whole car ride.
You better
You
rock out
didn't
to
have
that
a say
Toto.
so. You couldn't say, yo, pass me the aux cord, even though you shouldn't be saying that when you getting a ride from somebody else anyway. But
Right.
but I digress on that. But like, we were put in positions where that was, the same thing goes with us. And when we have these conversations about television, some households only had one TV in the house. So you were stuck watching, if your mother, being stereotypical, if your mom or your grandma watched soap operas, you was watching soap operas.
the
If your
stories.
dad was watching the game, yeah, the stories. If your dad was watching the games, you were watching the games because that was it, unless you got up and went outside, or you picked up a book you read, or picked up a crossword puzzle or something like that. If you weren't fortunate enough to have another TV with some rabbit ears or a video game system, then you had to consume what was being put out there.
Yeah,
But today's generation, there's so much that it's like they can pick their lane and be comfortable, and that's okay.
Until the Wi-Fi go out.
that's it.
Right, right. And then, yeah. But like I said, shouts out to Tyrone. We're not in the generation no more of free nights and weekends and free calls after 9 p.m.
Tyrone,
That
Tyrone still got that dial-up, man.
nigga got people PC computer computer internet. His disc ran out. He was on his 300 and he was on his 299th hour of his 300-hour AOL CD. But nah, but yeah, and so like I guess I could say I could understand why the young generation would want to compare a Jim Jones, but this should now just make you do your homework and say, you know what? If I want to try to prop Jim Jones up, let me find a rapper of that older era that is actually more comparable.
You know the crazy thing. So I don't know if he got a new album coming out or whatever, but he's been on a podcast tour. So he went on Jay and Fat Joe, and he was at bring up the stats, bring up the stats. So everybody brought up the stats, and it was realizing, yo, this dude Nas got 9 platinum albums to your zero, and all that. And so by the time he got to Shay Shay, he was like, he started backtracking. It was like, I have a place, in this too. Da, da, da. So
Which,
he knows
yeah.
statistic wise, he can't mess with Nas. But I'll give it to him. Like I said before, he's influential. Yeah, the
Hmm.
kids gravitate towards him because of what they see. The image. But when
Hmm.
it comes to pen to paper, and when
Mm.
it comes to performing, yo, come on now, yo, knock it off, knock it off. You know,
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's really, again, when you boil it down. That's what it really comes up to. Because
Yes.
yes, you said the perfect word, he said it. He has a place, rightfully so, rightfully so.
That's
Harlem,
it.
Harlem, and again to break out and be a standout from Harlem too. At that,
Yeah.
it's like you know it. That's Harlem is fire. Shouts out to the homie Seuss. Harlem is Harlem, but you know also, and Harlem didn't always produce the best of the best rappers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them they gave us that fucking that get light music and all that shit, that fucking snap shit. Like they gave us a lot of some of that shit too. But when you're talking rappers, they had some rapping ass rappers. And to be able to break out of that and stand and shine
Good for you.
after Dipset success, like Dipset helped bring you in, and then you was able to take that and put yourself even further. Big props to you. But still, you wasn't waving automatic guns at nuns. You wasn't in hell snuffing Jesus.
Word.
you you have not ruled the world. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You get
Word.
you're getting ethered in this debate and conversation, you know, and you
That's what
wish
it
you only had one mic to
is.
stand above Nas, but you don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But bad, terrible transition going from automatic guns at nuns to let's just get this shit over with so we can wrap up because Jamal gotta go.
It's all
As
right.
I had to title this fucking show BB's bitch. Because funny enough was a friend of mine on Instagram sent me somebody made a video with if you've seen the show image, I sent it to the group chat. It had the Israel flag on Nasty Nate's back. No, not Nasty Nate, Squirrel Man, Squirrel Master, and the USA flag was on the other guy. I forgot what the hell was his name? Kenny, right? I think Kenny. Yeah. It's like thinking of Dave Chappelle saying, "We gotta save Kenny's sweet virgin ass" from Half Baked, from the prison
Mhm.
scene in Half Baked, when he said, "Yeah, I'm somebody's bitch." Somebody
Classic.
put somebody put the USA flag on him, saying, "I'm somebody's bitch," with Israel right on his hand and his back. Let's as I said in the comment for the video, in the behest of Bibi Netanyahu and Israel, USA conducted strikes against Iran's uh, nuclear facility plants, three of them to be exact. I don't know if they clarified did they fully take them out or they just stating that they were successful strikes, meaning the bombs and the missiles landed and destroyed some shit. But I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna keep the intro short, and I'm gonna throw it to Jamal and then O, and then all I can say is you know what? Us as Americans, good luck to us. Good luck to us who did not ask for this shit. And now once again, we're about to be put into a war. And if y'all haven't been paying attention to the playbook, when Trump has been in front of these cameras and these interviews and stuff, he keeps putting out the words World War Three, World War Three. I don't want to be in a World War Three. We shouldn't have to be in a World War Three. World War Three. World War Three. I personally think that this motherfucker is right now just, I mean, like he always is, but this moment right now, he's looking for a legacy defining thing that puts him in the history books on what could be perceived as a positive level and is getting taught in history classes, you know, the same history classes that they've been trying to rewrite and destroy and eliminate our people's history in, just so he can have, you know, his name can live on with. He's already been president. His name is going to live on forever. But now all this shit is just pure ego driven, asshole driven, and he's allowing this punk Netanyahu to fucking to sun him. Because Jamal, how long has Netanyahu been claiming this about Iran? And not to answer the question ahead, but I'm gonna say something. I was listening to a show and the dude was just like, for the past 15, 20 years, Netanyahu's been saying the same shit, saying all the time. They're on their way. They're about to bomb. They might bomb us soon. They might bomb us soon. They're building this. They're building that. They might bomb us soon. Might bomb us soon. and now they got the perfect puppet to conduct his business.
Yeah, Netanyahu is been screaming this since the '90s. They're about to get the bomb. They're about to get the bomb. But he's been itching for a war with Iran since the '90s, and he wanted us to fight that war for him because he couldn't do it. So they decided to attack Iran and destroy American diplomacy to the point we can't come back from it. And they attacked Iran, and Iran punched back, and they realized, oh fuck, right? Um, so then Trump in our country capitulates and strikes this country, this sovereign nation, and drags us into another war with the same Iraq playbook when 11 Saudis hijacked planes and took down the World Trade Center, and we go invade Iraq because of weapons of mass
Right.
destruction. So we caught this show already. Um, it's going to be a shit show because we you don't even have to go too deep down the rabbit hole because the evidence of mediocrity is there. Everything Trump touches goes to shit. It was like that in his first term, and it's going to be this way. So of course they're going to give it a address. Oh, it was successful. This, that, and the other. Blah blah. They lie. They lie in everything they do. So it's all I got to say is people. It's a different world. These countries are not going to take this stuff laying down, and um, people should be concerned about for personal domestic safety right now and
Yeah.
retaliation because no one's going to sit there and try and go toe to toe with us on the battlefield. Why? Why would you do that? Stupid. Why would you play the other person's game? They're gonna go. They're gonna find different ways. Attacking the
Yep.
grid, cyber, um, backdoor stuff. So get a helmet.
And
That's what I'm
also
saying.
too, like I'm learned like we're even in this fucked up position because I believe almost immediately when he came into office this go round, or if not, it was no, it was in this go round. He took us out of whatever deal that was set up between
Yeah, the nuclear deal
these
accord. He
countries.
destroyed it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, he got rid of it and got rid of us out of it. Which then again, if you were really fearing this country for making these things, you should to keep diplomacy or again keep the peace after what you were asking for after you go tear up their shit, but then you want to now keep peace. If
Mm-hmm.
you never taken us out of this deal that has been successful
Mm-hmm.
this long, why? But no,
Yeah.
you chose the avenue of playing puppet for Netanyahu because he's a bitch ass nigga that can't get it done himself. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things that it was one of those things that he wasn't able to get the first time around, when he was in office, as far as Obama's uh uh legacy slash plan, he had with Iran. So he did this time around. For whatever reason, man, both sides of this of our democracy bends the knee to Israel, man. We had this big time producer slash rapper say what he said about Israel and the Jewish community, that how they run shit, and he was right, but I guess it was the wrong messenger, but it was we all knew what it was. You know what I'm
but
saying?
also Nick Cannon did it too,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
was forced to bend the knee also.
Correct. Why? But nobody asked why that was. I mean, listen. I mean, we listen, man. They no. It's a topic that no one wants to talk about. You know, um, us doing what we did. Iran knew it was coming. I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty damn sure we did not make a dent in their what's the word I'm looking for, man? In their cachet as far as the nuclear
Right, right.
premium uranium. You know, we didn't make a dent because it was all out of there by the time the bunker busters came through and did what they did. Now, is there gonna be retaliation? I'm pretty sure there is. Um, I could only speak for myself. I'm not going to be in Times Square or any Central Park or anything like that anytime soon. Not sure when it's going to happen, but it's going to be some type of retaliation. They have to retaliate. I almost think. You know, um, yeah,
Yeah, and we lost
it's
them. And it's not
right.
like we agree with the retaliation because we don't want to see
No,
that
of course not.
happen.
Listen,
But
we have
like they
nothing to
left,
do
they
with this.
left us American people who are sane, logical thinking people. Like yo, like we understand. Like that's kind of where they left us. Like yo, we
Right.
if something happens, it's like we understand. We know something's coming. We know
I
something's
mean,
coming, and it's sad. And most of us didn't ask for this shit.
yeah.
We didn't vote for this shit. This was what
Ninety
not what we
percent of
were
us did
looking
not
for
ask
in
for this.
life. You know what I'm saying? There should be no reason for this. And I'm gonna give early rest in peace shouts out to the people that are about to lose their lives behind this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Jamal, like we're the only country with military bases in other countries. Where do you think they're gonna attack first?
Well, there's a ton of troops already in the Middle East that are possibly in danger now. Um, it's just a bad look. I mean, what happened to no new wars? Remember that?
Yeah, no, no, no. What do you say? No forever
What
wars.
happened to
Yeah,
no
and
new
no
wars?
no new wars. So this is a bad look.
Hmm.
Fighting on behalf of other countries for what? And at a certain point, I mean, we told everyone was going to happen. The folks who voted the right way, we said it was going to happen, and like a hard-headed child, unfortunately, the country's going to have to learn the hard way.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it's like when you're small and your brothers and cousins and everybody got together and he's playing, and the one person couldn't act right, and everybody got to pay the price. They got to put the toys out. Everybody got to sit
Yep.
down.
Yeah,
That's
That,
exactly what this is.
that's
that's
what's going to happen.
exactly that's what's gonna happen.
So this was a very, very, very costly, dumb, dumb, dumb move, and preventative strike bullshit again it's going to have dire consequences. So um,
Mhm.
folks gonna
I
have
mean,
to just you know
all we're
not
going through right now is dire consequences. This fucking orange asshole first started with the immigration thing, gave us the lie of, oh, we're going only after the criminals and yada, yada, yada. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of more people who've been snatched up and deported who were upstanding citizens in these communities than the
mhm,
actual criminals. You know what I'm saying? We seen them do that. Now we're seeing this, no more, like you said, no new wars.
yeah.
Oh no, he's not. He's the president of peace. No new wars. No, no. Now he's going for the legacy defining war right now. But this his dumbass base, they got sold the bad bill of goods and believed, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. They believe they believe the bullshit of, grocery prices going down. Day
Mm.
one, the Ukraine war is supposed to stop and all of that shit.
Yeah,
Like y'all said before, he's a liar. The nigga lied about his fucking birthday celebration, aka the army birthday celebration, when there were more people at the No Kings protest than
facts,
at his racist military rally,
facts.
at his Kim Jong Un Jr. rally. We
Hmm.
knew what the fuck he was trying to do, and
Yo,
it didn't phase us.
I you brought up the immigration and people getting rounded up. Why were why were ICE agents uh with with had the bandana and the mask on? You couldn't see who they were. They didn't have no badges. Why was that? It's every every
Criminals.
every 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 time you saw him on TV rounding these guys up. You never saw a badge. They always had the mask on, and it's like, why why are we hiding this? If you're a government agent, doing what you were tasked to do, or whatever the case is, how come you was with a mask on and
Hiding.
going down?
Why are you being a pussy? Straight, let's just say it. Why are
Right.
you pussy? Why are you holding back your face? Now, allegedly, conspiracy, I don't know if it's true or not. Allegedly, a lot of these new ICE agents are people who were down with the January 6th shit.
No reason
Allegedly.
why you would
Allegedly.
hide. Yeah.
Allegedly. So
Hmm.
you just again, you emboldened a crowd who was already bigoted and racist. You got people of color who were probably in there just because they needed a job. Now they're out there looking like assholes. Got Mexican women talk about, yo, look at this nigga over here. Look, which that was funny discourse. There was real discourse around this Mexican woman using the word nigga. And we already know as New Yorkers, we're not even gonna go down that rabbit hole too far, but just it's the thing of proximity and how you were raised and how you grew up in your neighborhood that certifies you using that and stuff, especially as a person of color. I know we've had that discourse behind Fat Joe and Puerto Ricans using it, yada yada yada. And then was the white chick from Cali who like her crew certified her using it, but it was like, you know, don't use it outside your crew. But it's like all this type shit's going on, and it's like, they're trying to create infighting, which I think in essence, and something I've preached for a long time. I think a lot of us as communities are starting to get a little bit stronger behind a lot of this shit. Yeah, us black folks, like, I know we've been sitting back still saying like, this ain't our fight, this ain't our fight. But shouts out to the homie Khalif. Like, he made a point like, yo, like, this actually is all our fight now. Especially when in the city of Philadelphia, they tried to fucking deport some Jamaican dude
Mm,
for nothing.
mm.
For nothing. Normal, regular citizen, nothing like, I don't even know if he was a cit. No, yeah. He was born in Philadelphia. They tried to
That's
deport this
crazy.
Jamaican cat. They tried to deport this Jamaican cat. So where it's like, okay, now it is partially our fight, but it should kind of be our fight too because it's people of color. But then you look at the other rabbit hole conversation of, yeah, but when we were telling y'all not to vote for this asshole, some of y'all still voted for this asshole, yada 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 yada. We could be here all day with the rabbit holes. Point is I think a lot of us, and shouts out to the people who do go out there and use their words and fight and protest and stuff. I've historically said I don't have the energy to be walking around to do that shit. I like our platforms to do the same thing. But shouts out to all y'all, and we're starting to finally see some of these idiots who voted for this finally wake up. We're starting to see the fellow white people who didn't vote for this, verbally smacking other white people in the face like, stupid. We've been trying to tell y'all, and you still fell for it.
Right.
So in some respects, it's like, yo, you magas are pretty quiet, but now you're getting what you deserve. But then, like Jamal said, nah, but we are all part of this shit because, like you said, we're the little brother or the little cousin who we wasn't wrestling at all, but we was just in the room.
That's it.
We were just in the room, and we're all getting in trouble. We all got to clean up now because fucking knucklehead cousin one and little brother number two decided to want to wrestle and break the TV stand.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Now we
Now
all
we all
gotta
getting
clean up.
heat. Now we all
Yep.
getting heat.
No more Nintendo for none of you.
Put away that Nintendo.
In-
Yep. So
Yeah.
that's how it's going to be. It's bad diplomacy. I mean, these guys are a clusterfuck anyway. This whole administration is dumber than the last one. There's no
hmm
expertise. Nobody has any skills in the jobs they were hired for. All they had was loyalty. So they're going to find
hmm
out why you need expertise in government and in agencies and people with experience. You're going to find out shortly. So, we got a
Yeah.
whole administration of C minus students Meanwhile, the folks overseas who want their get back are all A+ students. You know what I'm saying? So they're
Right.
gonna
No,
figure it out.
Jamal, yo, Jamal, man, I always say, man, yo, you every doctor doesn't graduate top of their class, man. Every
Nope,
pilot doesn't graduate top of their class. There's some pilots out there that graduate at the bottom of the class. You know what I'm saying?
that's it.
And that's what we get. That's what we have right now in office. You know, every every every, every student didn't graduate top of their class in political science or diploma or geopolitics and diplomacy. You know, and that's what we have, man. You know, but
Yep.
you got guys like Hexef that doesn't know. Hey, maybe I shouldn't put everybody in my SMS group chat and talk about
Right.
geopolitics. You know, it's man, yo, it's tough. I mean, it's like, yo, we all got to suffer through this. You know,
Yep.
Hmm. It's like watching
Yep.
a train crash in slow motion. You
in
know,
slow
that's pretty
motion.
much what it is.
Yeah.
And we're
But
stuck with this
in
shit.
constant repetition, constant
Yeah,
repetition of crashes. It's just like,
we're watching dumb
On
people
on yeah,
double
on
down
mm,
loop.
on dumb shit. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just pray. I just
Well,
pray we get through all this unscathed, man. You know,
yeah.
that's it, man. You know.
But the real conversation, though, I know we gotta have, and I know Jewish people, but I want to be fair, and I need Palestinians, I need Iranians, I want to have a balanced conversation. But maybe we need to do some like with the Jewish people, because it's like, yo, nobody's ever gonna say y'all don't have the right to exist. This isn't 1930s, 1940s Germany anymore, right?
Right.
But but the irony behind now, you guys are doing, and you guys meaning just their government, because it's not all the people of Israel, but it's just their government. You guys are doing exactly what they did to you, plain and simple. And there's no
It's
skating around it. There's no sugarcoating it. Motherfuckers don't want to hear that shit, but people been saying this shit. You guys are out there committing the genocides, committing murder. Now you got us people picking your fights for you, because you can sit back with your hands folded behind your back, like haha, like like they're the ones who they see a fight, they throw the bottle from the back to get the fight going. Or y'all remember you standing chest to chest and be like, yo, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yo, hit me, hit me, hit
it's,
me.
it's, it's
And
somebody
then
pushes one of them.
yeah, and somebody pushes it or takes the hand and then slaps them, and then it's over from there. That's what Israel's done right now. That's what Israel's doing right now. And so I want to have conversations with regular people of that country and or faith based, whatever the case may be, to try to get an understanding of why. Why? Like, you guys are still carrying the persecution of the Holocaust to this day. But then in America, as soon as we bring up, yeah, but our people were ancestors of, nah, forget that shit. Fuck all that shit. But we gotta protect y'all to tooth and nail. Why? Like, okay, you guys took over, you guys found land that you claimed was yours, and then took over that land, and now proceed to continue to kill people and ethnic cleanse an entire group of people whose land you stole over generations. But we always have to eternally have sympathy for you. And again, that the type of focus that I'm talking right now. If YouTube blocks this, whatever. But this is just truth being spoken. Like, this is their government. This isn't the people at large. Because there are many of them who are not for this shit. But I do want to try to find, that's where the real conversation needs to be had. I think everybody is like, why? We need to get to the bottom of the why, and why from them. And why from them. And again, this orange asshole just biting the bait and falling for it after selling the bad bill of goods to your people, talking about, again, no new wars. It's about America. We need to make sure America is straight first. Meanwhile, they're making sure America is only straight for white straight men
Mm.
while tearing up everything else. But that's another conversation that they don't want to admit to having. But why? Like, why is the main question? Donald Trump, stop being Bibi's bitch, even though I don't want you to be president at all. But in some respects, y'all, and we'll close with this. I want y'all thoughts. I think I want this. I'm, as I said before, I think that this guy has been trying to go for some king shit. He's trying to make this thing a forever position. I'm genuinely hoping that it just stays the 4 years and he stays alive the 4 years just so we could get it over with. Because I don't want that bastard JD Vance who's been, he's been mighty quiet. You know how they like to say about vice presidents. He's been
Yeah.
mighty quiet, but I don't know if y'all agree with me on that.
There's a bunch of things. It's nuanced. It's a very, very nuanced conversation about Israel and their foreign policy. You have to understand that in a lot of ways it's no different than here. They have a criminal in office. It's just hands down he's a criminal. And if he's not president, he's going to jail. And people don't understand the backside of it. He was he was in a lot of trouble for corruption and everything else. And so he has to keep the war and stuff going in order to stay in power to stay out of
Distracted.
jail. And it's the same shit Trump has. If Trump's not in power, his ass is going is probably getting clinked up. So a lot of that stuff, that they're doing, he's self-preservation over his country. He's not doing what's best for his country. He's actually putting him in more danger. But and so yeah, it's just a nuanced conversation. It's the same thing as anywhere else, man. People in power, propaganda, governments, bad news, making the populace scared so you can, continue to do your thing. But it's at some point it's going to come to a head. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree with both you guys, man. This is again, man. It's nothing new as far as these guys. They're gonna do whatever they can to stay in power, man. And as far as what you said with the similarities of the 1930s and 40s, I mean that's something that we've that's something that's a conversation that's been had across this country at the dinner tables. People been talking about like, yo, it's looking real familiar. Is only difference is I guess you don't have the bombastic over the top supreme leader in Netanyahu like we did back in the 30s and 40s, but it's the same playbook. And we're
Mm.
watching it. We're watching it in real time, man. My heart goes out to these Palestinians, man. That's has to go through this, and now the Iranians. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, most of them again did not ask for this. So and again, us the people did not ask for this. As far as what happened last night. Um, but I don't know, man. We got to see what's gonna happen, and hopefully we'll all come out unscathed.
mm, mm, mm,
Word.
mm.
Yeah, I mean, we can only hope for the best at this time right now, and deal with the worst of the bullshit that we got to go through on a daily basis. So
Hmm.
you know, that's all we could kind of hope for and ask for. But yeah. Oh, you know what to do.
Yes, sir, man. Yo, great show, man. Great show. You know, can't wait for Game 7 tonight. Psych. Uh, I'll be watching. I'll be watching my club World Cup. And U.S. versus Haiti, man. That's gonna be the highlight of my night. But yeah, man, great show, man. Shout out to the listeners. Shout out to TJ. Shout out to Tyrone. Shout out to you guys, man. Pass it off to Jamal.
Great show, important, relevant topics of the day. Um, the world is in a strange place right now, so we're gonna see what's good. But shout out to TJ, Lisper, uh, O. Shout out to the listeners. Shout out to the mayor. I'm with you on that. Oh, just watching the Club World Cup. I went to the Chelsea game in the link on Friday. And we got our ass whooped by Flamengo and got beer thrown on me, but it's all good.
Oh
Um,
shit!
yeah, sir.
It's
Um,
the you went to Lincoln Financial Center, man. What you expect? It's probably an Eagles fan. No
they were,
disrespect.
bro, bro. You know how many Brazilians made that trip to watch Flamengo play, bro?
Wow.
Yeah, man. So they came out there deep, supported their team. Good for them. They filled that place up. But every time Flamengo scored, all of them just throw beer. It was crazy. And I
Wow.
was talking to Dan earlier before we got on the show that two beers at Lincoln Financial Field came in 44 hours. So that's about the last time that's gonna happen.
My lord.
And yeah, and they were selling water for $15. So
What?
yep,
Nah.
yes sir. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad I ain't
but
go. Man.
shout out to Dubby and to Hooks Rug. Peace to Ishtar, Illmatic, and Disabled Planets. Throw it over to the mayor.
Word. And as always, like you said, 20% and 10% off your order on both of those sites. Um, Shout out to the real World Cup ticket prices. Man, fuck your life on those shit. Fucking my daughter showed me them ticket prices. Oh, 6 digits
Mm.
for fucking nosebleeds at MetLife. We gonna be
What is
watching the
it? What
World
is it?
Cup
A
now.
Knicks game?
We gonna be watching the. It's a WWE wrestling show now under TKO.
That's hilarious.
Sticking thousands of dollars to fucking change a light bulb at the top. Fuck out of here, man. But
Real quick, Mr. Dolan. I was playing. I was playing. Please don't put me on the list, man. Don't put me on the
word,
list, man.
word. We just got good. But not. Excuse me. Shouts out to my daughters. Danielle graduates 8th grade tomorrow. Zaria completes her high school journey this Wednesday.
That's what's up.
Shouts
That's
out
what's
to
up.
my job for actually fucking giving me the comp time to go to this graduation. It'll be no shouts out if you fuck me over and give me and make me try to come into work Wednesday. I won't be showing up because I'm sorry. I love all my children, but to see number one complete the mission and
Mhm.
now on to college mission, that's been everything for me. Because you gotta understand, like the first 4 years, 4.5 years of her life, it was just us. It was just us three. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
right, right.
so this one hits. This one hits. Like I told my mess. Told my wife I might be a whole mess on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? But no shouts out. No shouts out. And I wanted to fucking show the image, but I didn't. The computer was acting funny pre-show, so I had to do the phone. No shouts out to the asshole who, after 30 seconds after my daughter's graduation gift was delivered and dropped on the porch, 30 seconds later, a motherfucker walked up with a red book bag, a black hoodie, and red shorts and stole that shit off my porch.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Fucking MacBook Pro and headphones.
Mm.
For internet purposes alone, he's lucky I wasn't here, or my ass wouldn't have been doing the show today because I might have unalived the man and would be locked up in the 120 waiting to go upstate. Because don't fuck with my children. Straight up and down.
Uh,
Straight the fuck up and down. Don't fuck with my children. Don't fuck with my children's stuff. Don't no. No. It's hands off for everybody. Don't fuck with them. Don't fuck with this stuff. And the fact that you stole again, and if you knew my financial troubles, our financial troubles, to be able to afford to be able to purchase that computer for my daughter, who earned that shit, who earned it straight through, and is gonna be successful within college, and you do some bullshit like that, I know this shit happens to everybody, but this shit happened to me, and it happened to the wrong one for you. if I could catch your ass. Plain and simple. And I mean every fucking word I said.
Nah, yeah, nah. Don't let that shit go.
I mean every word I said. Even if the computer don't come back, if I catch you. If I catch you. And we done. Peace, y'all. We out.